Really trying to wrap my head around this one. Last year, I was diagnosed with ADHD. I've been doing a lot of reading trying to figure out how does my brain work. And this week, I learned about imposter syndrome. Yeah, that makes sense. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to another video. As I said earlier, I was diagnosed with ADHD a little over a year ago, and I've been doing a lot of reading since trying to figure out how does my brain work. And this week, I come across imposter syndrome. For those of you that don't know, imposter syndrome is the feeling or the belief that you're not as competent as other people perceive you as. Have you ever got that feeling like you don't deserve the recognition for your accomplishments? Or maybe you feel like a fraud, like in your job you don't think you know what you're doing, but you actually do because you have the experience, you have the expertise, and you have the knowledge to do your job well. Or maybe you feel like most of your achievements are more like luck than anything else. Any of that resonate with you? Because it resonates with me. And that's why I'm going to talk about my experience with masking that I think led into imposter syndrome. I do want to say, not a doctor, not a psychiatrist. I'm just explaining my experiences with masking that led into imposter syndrome, I think. Like most people with ADHD, I learned to mask my symptoms at a young age. I didn't know I had ADHD though. I just know that I was told over and over again to sit still, stop being so sensitive. You just gotta focus and try harder. And hearing that over and over again, that obviously developed that mask. I had to hide those symptoms because I really wanted to fit in. I wanted to be normal. I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere, family or friends. As a matter of fact, my parents used to tell me that if I wanted good grades, I had to hang out with kids that got good grades. And that makes a lot of sense, but I'm struggling through school. I can't focus well enough to get those good grades, even though I wanted to. So I think in some way, I did choose friends just to fit in. I chose friends that were a little rebellious, didn't like or care for school all that much. They got bad grades, I got bad grades. We could be friends now. But then you grow up and those masks become more elaborate. Not only that, you get really good at it. And then you enter the workforce and you're trying to figure out, am I really masking at work or do I actually know what I'm doing? And that's where imposter syndrome comes in. See, I've been masking for so long, I'm not too sure what's a mask and what's not, especially at work. I don't know if I'm masking the fact that I don't know what I'm doing and I'm hoping I don't get in trouble with my boss, or if I actually do know what I'm doing. And sometimes in life, I actually don't know if I'm masking my personality to fit in or if that's actually my personality. Sometimes I feel kind of lost. I'll give you an example of that. I've been a photographer for quite a few years now. It's not my main job, it's a side hustle, but I do family photos, I do headshots, I do videos every now and then. And I still don't think that my photos that I take, the videos I make, are good enough. I don't think they're at the photographer level. It's hard for me to call myself a photographer. I sometimes think that I'm just a guy that happens to have a good camera. That's it. Even though most of the people I've done work for, they like my photos, they like my videos, they like the angles I get, they like how I edit, all that type of stuff, but I still don't feel like I'm a photographer. Imposter syndrome actually affects other aspects of my life as well. I've been coaching my kids' baseball teams for the last 5, maybe 6 years now, and I still don't think I'm a good coach. My wife, along with other parents, they like how I coach, but I still don't think I'm the guy for the job. I don't think I have the expertise. Well, to be perfectly honest, I actually don't have the expertise. I didn't play in college or professional. I only played as a kid. But I'm still saying I don't think I'm the volunteer for the job. Most of the time, I'm teaching them baseball, but I'm also trying to teach them about attitude. The better their attitude on the field, the better they're going to perform. The more frustrated they get, the more they're going to beat up on themselves rather than the other team beating them. But then I realized that I'm teaching these kids about attitude and emotion and how to regulate that attitude and emotion. I could barely regulate my own emotions. So who am I to teach attitude to kids? If that's not a fraud, I don't know what is. I'm not too sure if I could get over imposter syndrome, but I have a good idea of where to start. Plus, I'm still learning about the topic. Not only that, I'm still learning about my brain, but I think I know where to start. I'm gonna start with my wife and kids, my family. Anytime I start feeling like a fraud or an imposter, I'm gonna go to them and I'm gonna ask them how they perceive me, whether it be coaching, my job, photography, whatever the case may be. And trust me, my wife has no problem telling me that I suck at something. So if I'm being an imposter, she'll let me know. Not only that, I also have to check in with myself. I gotta figure out if my intrusive thoughts are real or not? If they're real, I got to deal with them. If they're not real, then I could hopefully move on, push them aside, move on, and hopefully crawl out of that hole of intrusive thoughts. Because I think intrusive thoughts actually gets me into imposter syndrome. I don't know if that's actually going to work. Like I said, I still got a lot of reading to do and studying to do on the topic and find out a little bit more about it, but at least that's a place I could start. If you've experienced imposter syndrome and you have ADHD, let me know in the comments. I'd really like to know what your experience was. Well, that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video, and I'll see you next time.